Miami just handed over basically their entire young core. The whole next generation of the franchise is gone.
I'm surprised they didn't give up Bam. Crazy if they give up Bam. But I ain't like Giannis and Bam on the same team. That's gonna be tough. 2K, they're gonna be nice as hell. But if Bam gets in that lab and shoots more threes, gang, this is gonna low-key be unstoppable. I ain't gonna lie. This is probably gonna be one of the best front courts in the league. But I feel like they should have traded Bam Adebayo instead of Tyler. Like they should have kept Herro and Kel'el Ware, and they should have traded Bam Adebayo and Triple J. The Giannis trade was worse than what we thought. Shout out to TheFlightMike for this video. I ain't gonna lie, man. Giannis going to the Heat, man, is crazy. Julius Randle going to the Nets. Mazin Members, let me know what you guys think about the new trades that have happened so far. We're finna get straight into it, man. If you guys haven't, make sure you guys join the Mazin Members and leave a like on this video. Now let's get straight into it, man. I'm in a good mood today.
Miami, it's a group of cost-controlled players, rookie-scale contracts, significant draft capital in that deal. It is going to be a one-to-one deal.
It feels as if the redundancy that a lot of people thought existed with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, if Giannis goes to Miami, I see similarities of that redundancy.
One of the longest running trade sagas in the history of the NBA has finally reached its conclusion today. 5 years in the making, Giannis Antetokounmpo has officially been traded from the Milwaukee Bucks. And how
the Milwaukee Bucks are trading franchise icon Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis to Miami Heat for Tyler Herro, Kel'el Ware, Triple J, and Kasparis. I don't know how to say his last name. 3 first-round picks. That's going to be very interesting. Bobby Portis and Giannis. That's just, I mean, that's still going to be good. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I kind of hate that they had to give up Kel'el Ware because Kel'el Ware is tough, and I ain't gonna lie. I could see him being a better Whiteside. The Bucks are low-key going to be stacked. They still have Ryan Rollins, you know what I'm saying? They still have all their young pieces. So it's like, this is going to be very interesting to see, man. We thought Jaylen Brown was finna go to the Bucks, man. That would have been crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Giannis as a Celtic, bro. Giannis and Tatum is wild. I ain't gonna lie.
How this situation even came about is crazy when you think about how many times the Milwaukee Bucks actually kicked the can down the road. So today I'm going to break down every part of this trade, including how we got here to begin with, how Giannis almost got traded multiple times in the past, who won this trade, and what this means for every team's future. Before we get to the content, the offseason's officially here, the NBA draft is here, and free agency is right around the corner. If you want to stay up to date with the latest NBA news and analysis, make sure you're subscribed and have my notifications on. And now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Back 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Let me take you all the way back to the fall of 2020. Giannis is the back-to-back NBA MVP. He is the best player in the world, and his contract is about to become the biggest decision in basketball. The Bucks could offer him a 5-year supermax, but they had one problem. They kept getting bounced out in the playoffs, and Giannis was getting restless because it's not like Milwaukee was known as a free agent destination either. So he let everybody know where his mind was at. In a Swedish newspaper, he got asked if he would sign with the Milwaukee Bucks long term, and his answer was ice cold, saying, "I do not know what the plan is. It depends on what decisions they make." That's a superstar publicly telling his franchise that,
"Hey, the ball's in your court. If you impress me with the roster that you build, I'll stay. But if we are not competing for
I respect it though, bro, because at the end of the day, it's a business decision. It's like, you know what I'm saying? If you're not, if he's just the best player on the team and he's playing with a bunch of Uber drivers, I mean, hey, like I respect that, man. If we're just gonna keep losing and like you're paying me all this money and like I'm not even happy with like the front office and everything, and it's like, man, why am I even here? Like I wanna win. Like I wanna win a championship. So it's like I'm gonna go to the best team, or I'm gonna go to a better, not to the best team, but to a better team. You know, or I at least want some guys that's going to actually want to win as well. And that's going to put in the forth worth and the effort to win like I am.
Championship, then I am gone.
So the Bucks panicked in the best way possible. They went out and traded for Drew Holiday, and the price for Drew Holiday was steep. They sent out Eric Bledsoe, George Hill, and 3 first-round picks and a couple of pick swaps. That was crazy. I remember that. That's a haul you only give up when you're terrified of losing your superstar. And here's how you could tell that this was all about Giannis. An executive from another team told Tim McMahon flat out that Giannis had to approve this trade. He wasn't just a player. He was the guy signing off on the roster.
Literally
and to his
the LeBron
credit,
of the
it
team.
worked perfectly. 1 month later, Giannis signed a 5-year, $228 million Supermax extension. The next summer, Drew Holiday locked down Devin Booker. Giannis dropped 50 points in the closeout game, and the Milwaukee Bucks won a championship, their first since 1971. And this was a little bittersweet because on one hand, Milwaukee got a championship. At the same time, the blueprint was officially set in stone. Giannis applies pressure, the Bucks empty the vault, and a banner goes up. It was a fairy tale, but it also taught Giannis a dangerous lesson. My power works, and he was about to use it on everything, including who gets to coach the team.
I mean, he is the
Here's
second
where
best
the power
buck of all
stops
time,
being
though.
about the players and starts
I
being about
agree.
everything. After the title, the Bucks got bounced in the second round in 2022. And then in 2023, they pulled off one of the greatest chokes in NBA history. They were the top seed in the East, knocked out in the first round by the 8th seed Miami Heat. So what did Milwaukee do? They hired Mike Budenholzer, the coach who'd won him a championship 2 years earlier. He's gone. That's how short the leash got. And the guy they
Crazy.
replaced him with tells you everything. They hired Adrian Griffin, a first-time head coach with zero experience running a team. Why him? Well, according to The Ringer, the Bucks hired him anyway, mainly because he was Giannis's choice. Could you imagine that? This is the most important hire that a franchise makes, and they handed the keys to a rookie coach because their superstar wanted
Crazy.
him.
I don't know why they fired Mike, though. I ain't gonna lie. They should have kept him. No cap. I don't know why they fired him. Hey, Samuels, let me know why they fired Mike.
A quote from their general manager at the time that really tells you how this era was going down. John Horst said that if you're being honest, with Giannis, you're kind of always on the clock. Every decision was just based off of the Milwaukee Bucks making sure Giannis stayed happy. And then it got wild. Adrian Griffin starts the season 30-13, the second best record in the entire conference.
Solid.
By any normal measure, he's crushing it. But it didn't matter. The players, Giannis included, didn't trust his schemes, and word got back to the front office, so they fired him. 30-13, one of the quickest hooks
Crazy.
in NBA history. A coach that was winning 70% of his games got dumped in the middle of the season. And the craziest part is they replaced him with Doc
Freaking
Rivers,
Doc
a guy
Rivers
who'd
died.
literally been working as Griffin's informal consultant during that same season. You can even tell from Doc Rivers' press conferences at the time, he was shocked.
And I've never done this. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. I can tell you that just from the day and a half. But it's going to be a challenge. I'm a coach. I love coaching. I will say I wasn't going to coach, though.
So Giannis wanted Griffin in, and then Giannis was fine with Griffin out, and the team moved a mountain to make both happen. There's even a story from that stretch of Giannis grabbing a marker and diagramming the team spacing and plays to an assistant coach, getting more and more
What?
animated. That's not a passenger, that's the guy driving the bus, picking
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna lie. A coach only coaching 43 games and then getting fired is actually crazy. I'm not gonna lie. And then we have Doc Rivers coming in, and he doesn't even feel like even really coaching like that. So it's like, I mean, if the coaches don't want to coach, you know what I'm saying, or there's some shady shit with the coaches, then you know that's gonna reflect within the players and the record and everything, bro, and on how they play. Like, bro, that's so crazy. I didn't even know all that. That's new information for me.
the route and changing the driver in the middle of the trip. Now let's back up a few months because this isn't the only time Giannis used his power and it backfired. During the same offseason that they hired Adrian Griffin, Giannis ran his power play again, and this time it blew up in everyone's face. In September of 2023, he sat down with the New York Times and dropped what was basically an ultimatum. Giannis said that he wouldn't be signing his extension yet, and then he said this: "I would not be the best version of myself if I don't know that everybody's on the same page. Everybody's going for a championship, and if I don't feel that, I'm not signing. Put up or shut up. Build me a real contender or watch me leave." So the Bucks did the boldest thing that they could have ever imagined. They traded for Damian Lillard, a top-tier scorer, a perfect pairing on paper, a 3-team blockbuster that cost them Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, an unprotected
Yeah, that was
first-round pick,
crazy.
and pick swaps. But do you see the brutal irony here? To get Dame, they had to trade away Drew Drew Holiday, the exact same guy that they mortgaged their future to get 3 years earlier. The guy who helped them win the title. Giannis's 2020 power play delivered Drew. Giannis's 2023 power play shipped him out. The snake was already starting to eat its own tail. And this time, the gamble didn't pay off. The Dame Giannis era was a 2-year...
They should have kept Drew Holiday. I don't know why they traded for Damian Lillard. I mean, I could see why. He is a better player than Drew Holiday. He's definitely not a better defender than Drew Holiday, but like, they should have kept him, bro. Like, well, that team was actually tough too. I ain't gonna lie, bro. They had Drew Holiday, Dante DiVincenzo, Giannis, White Forest. I think Brook Lopez was on that team too. That team was so good. I ain't gonna lie.
A disappointment that never came together, even when it was healthy. Then it ended in
Lillard's
the
still a
worst
good player,
way possible.
like,
Lillard tore his Achilles in Game 4 of the 2025 first-round series against the Pacers. Think about the scoreboard now. The Bucks had given up Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, an unprotected pick, and swaps for 2 first-round exits and a torn Achilles. The blueprint that won a championship in 2020 had officially started working in reverse, and Milwaukee was about to make its most desperate move yet. In the summer of 2025, the Bucks are staring at a torn-up roster, no real point guard, and a superstar who, once again, is weighing whether his future is in Milwaukee. So they did the most stunning thing a front office has done in years. To clear cap space, they waived Damian Lillard and stretched the $113 million left on his deal across 5 years, paying him about $22.5 million a year to not play for them. It's the largest waive and stretch in NBA history. So really, let that sink in for a second. Guys, they're paying for a guy who's not playing for them anymore for half of a decade just to free up room to appease Giannis even more. And what do they do with that room? They sign Miles Turner to a 4-year, $107 million deal, poaching him from a division rival. The whole point, again, was to convince Giannis to stay. Bro. The Ringer called it an all-time panic move to placate Giannis, a full-court heave to save the Giannis era, like someone smashing the breaking case of emergency glass to grab a fire hose after the building's already burned down. Crazy, that's how desperate this move looked from the outside. And here's the twist that captures this whole saga. Giannis wasn't even happy about this move. Chris B. Haynes reported Giannis is not pleased with how they waived Lillard, but at the same time, the move only happened because of the pressure he put on.
But he was fine with trading this nigga for Drew Holiday, although Drew Holiday was literally like, he was literally helping these niggas to get a championship. That's crazy. Man, I gotta say, Lillard is a better player, but like, yo, come on, dog.
On them to keep contending. At the time, NBC Sports told you a brief version of what I'm trying to explain to you now. Giannis did what he's always done, passively aggressively pushing the Bucks to make bold moves to stay in contention. That's how they ended up with Lillard in the first place. He keeps lighting the match, then frowning at the fire. And this particular fire,
Indecisive is Giannis's middle name, bro. It's like, oh, he wants this. Oh, then he wants to change this. Then oh, this, that, it's that, then it's that. And I understand. I ain't like he's like off the court. He's a cool guy, bro. Like I remember I seen an interview with the School of Hard Knocks with Giannis, and you know what I'm saying. He was very chill and everything. But besides that, we're talking about on the court here. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Just pick one thing and stick with it, bro. Like stop trying to switch up stuff, man. And the front office is going to go for it because they're his best player. Giannis is a top 5 player in the league.
Mortgage the future for good.
Really top 2.
That brings us to right now. The Milwaukee Bucks have no assets, and the bill has finally come due. The Miles Turner gamble didn't save anything. This past season, the Bucks completely fell apart.
Miles Turner was
32-50, missing the playoffs for the first time in 9 years. Doc Rivers was shown the door. Taylor Jenkins came in as their 3rd head coach in 3 years, and the franchise looked exactly like what it was. A team that spent everything and had nothing left. And I'm not even exaggerating when I said this team had nothing left. This is a decade of emptying the vault to keep Giannis happy. And here's the wreckage. The Bucks don't control their own first-round pick until 2031, and they're buried under that Damian Lillard dead money for years. They have no picks,
so 2029,
a roster that cratered, and a superstar with just 1 guaranteed year left on his deal who could walk away for nothing. So the Bucks are stuck with the cruelest math in sports. If they were to keep Giannis, he could leave for free and they're dead for a decade. If they trade him, they're trading the greatest player in franchise history. There's no good option, only the least catastrophic one.
I wouldn't say that. He's not the best player. He's not over Kareem. I ain't gonna lie. I cannot put Giannis over Kareem. I can't do that. That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. I cannot put Giannis over Kareem, bro. I can't do that, bro. Giannis is the second best player, is the second best buck of all time. I can't put him over Kareem. That's crazy.
And the perfect irony of this entire story is the one asset valuable enough to undo all the damage is Giannis himself. Every pick they traded, every coach they fired, every dollar they burned, they did it for him. And now the only way to dig out of the hole they dug to keep him is to sell the very guy that they dug it for. The king has to be traded to undo what was built for the king. That's not a tragedy that happened to Giannis. He was the architect for all of this. So before we break down this trade, I wanted to ask you guys one question. Was all of this worth it? And whose fault is it? Because you can spin it two completely different ways. On one side, Giannis did nothing wrong. He's a top 3 player
also,
on
Giannis
the planet.
wanted to leave,
he wanted to win. And using your leverage to push your team to be great is exactly what a superstar should do. LeBron did it, and he yielded mixed results. Sometimes it worked out, and sometimes it didn't. He just wanted to win, and he held his franchise to that standard.
And that goes for every superstar too, though, bro. Of course they want to win. KD, same thing. Definitely the same thing with KD. Bron, of course, Giannis, like the top players in the league, they want to win, bro. Like, I mean, people are only going to be loyal to a franchise if they have a winning team. Like, prime example, like Jokic. Jokic is probably going to stay on the Nuggets for probably his whole entire career. I'd be surprised if he gets traded for real, especially if they have good pieces around him, like Jamal Murray, Christian Braun, like those type of players, like players that actually want to win. You know, so I understand it from a business perspective, but I mean, of course, like to other fans and stuff, like it looks like you're just a journeyman. You're just bouncing around teams. Like, for instance, Kevin Durant. This nigga's been on, I think, 5 or 6 teams. What? The Thunder, the Warriors, the Nets, the Rockets, and the Suns. So he's been on 5 teams.
But on the other side, a franchise can't say no to one guy forever. Every time Giannis got restless, the Bucks didn't push back. They panicked. They fired a championship coach. They fired a 30-13 coach. They gave up a decade of draft picks. They paid a man $22 million a year to not play for them. At some point, building entirely around keeping one person happy isn't loyalty. It's a hostage situation. And Milwaukee handed over the ransom every single time. My personal take on this is on both of them, but it's mostly a cautionary tale about what happens when a franchise gives a player too much power. Giannis was the best thing that's ever happened to the Milwaukee Bucks, and chasing his approval is what eventually destroyed them. They got a ring out of it, so maybe this was all worth it, but they're about to spend the next 5 years paying for a decade of never being able to tell their superstar no. So tell me, did Giannis ruin the Bucks, or did the Bucks ruin themselves trying to keep him? So you might be wondering why I spent the first half of this video giving you a history lesson on how Milwaukee mortgaged their entire future with Giannis. Well, it's because Miami just did the exact same thing, and I think the irony is beautiful here. They shipped out Tyler Herro, a 2025 All-Star who averaged at least 20 points per game for 5 straight years, plus Kel'el Ware, one of the more promising young centers in the league, plus a 6th Man of the Year runner-up and Jaime Jaquez Jr., plus a rookie, plus 3 first-round picks. Pat Riley watched the cautionary tale we just told you and said,
"You know what? I've been whiffing on way too many stars recently. Hold my beer."
It's kind of crazy because I think Milwaukee played this perfectly. They leveraged the impending threat of the Boston Celtics, and reports like this.
It sounds like the Boston Celtics are the front runners.
I am sure that the Boston Celtics looked at what happened with the Cleveland Browns. But if you look at what Jimmy Haslam did with the Cleveland Browns, he could have traded his franchise player, Myles Garrett, for draft picks only. He didn't approve a deal until he got a high-quality player. I am sure that the Celtics saw that and took that into account.
To get one hell of a package from Miami. So, did Miami overpay? Well, here's where it gets interesting, because the answer is fairly layered. In terms of draft picks, no. Honestly, in terms of draft capital, this is closer to a bargain. When teams traded for guys like Rudy Gobert or Mikal Bridges, really good players but nowhere close to Giannis's level, it cost 4 and 5 first-round picks. Miami got a 2-time MVP for 3. Why so cheap? Well, because of the exact same leverage trap that we broke down earlier. Giannis had 1 guaranteed year and a player option, so Miami didn't have to empty their entire pick drawer. On picks alone, getting a top 5 player on earth for 3 first-round picks is a steal. So where's the cost here? Well, well, it's not in the picks. Miami just handed over basically their entire young core. The whole next generation of the franchise is gone in one trade.
I'm surprised they didn't give up Bam. That would have been crazy if they gave up Bam. But I ain't like Giannis and Bam on the same team. That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. We really finna see like how it's gonna work. But Giannis and Bam on the same team, this is gonna be interesting. In 2K, they're gonna be nice as hell. I ain't gonna lie. 2K27 and the end of 2K26, like with the updated rosters, this is gonna be nice. Giannis and Bam, that's gonna be so tough, gang. That's gonna be so tough. I ain't gonna lie. In real life, I just gonna see how this is gonna work. Cause I mean, Bam can space the floor, but like Giannis, I don't know. It's just gonna be weird, bro. We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Trade. So the answer isn't did they give up too many assets, it's did they give up the right assets? Yeah. And to answer that, we need to address the one thing that I personally had trouble understanding when this rumor first broke out, and that's Giannis's fit next to Miami's best player. Guys, I don't want to sound like a hater. It's my job to cut through the emotion and actually analyze trades. When the Los Angeles Lakers traded for Luka Doncic, I immediately told you that unless the Lakers get a rim-running big man next to Luka and a bunch of 3-and-D scorers, it's not going to work out, and they're not going to be able to make a deep playoff run. And I'm here to give you guys the same dose of reality here with Giannis getting traded to the Heat. My biggest concern with this trade is that Giannis Antetokounmpo is one of the most devastating paint scorers in the history of basketball. And at this point of his career, he's practically given up on shooting the 3-ball, which is fine. This is who he is, but it means that he needs shooting around him, and especially a big man who can step out and keep the paint clear for him to attack. It's not an accident that his best years came next to Brook Lopez, a 7-footer who became a 35% three-point shooter and dragged opposing centers away from the rim. So who is Miami pairing him with? Bam Adebayo, an incredible defender, potentially a future Hall of Famer, and a center who likes to live in the exact same areas that Giannis needs to operate in. Bam has worked on his jumper, by the way. During the 2023-24 season and the 24-25 season, he's averaged about 36% from three. But in 2023-24, he was averaging 0.6 3-point attempts per game. In 2024-25, he was averaging 2.8 3-point attempts a game. And then this past year, when he was averaging 5.5 3-point attempts per game, his 3-point shooting dropped to 31.8%. I don't want to undersell how dominant a Bam Giannis front court is going to be defensively, but this is going to be a spacing nightmare on offense. Defenses can just pack the paint, build a wall around Giannis, help off Bam, and dare everybody else to beat them with jumpers. Two of your best players clogging.
But if Bam gets in that lab and shoots more threes, gang, this is gonna low-key be unstoppable. I ain't gonna lie. This is probably gonna be one of the best front courts in the league. I ain't gonna lie. If Bam can get that 3 out, bro, because Giannis is not shooting no 3, bro. But if Bam can space the 4 and hit a 3, gang, it low-key might be raps for niggas. I ain't gonna lie.
The same lane. And the part about this that sucks the most is the shooting that Miami needed to fix that problem is exactly what they just traded away. Tyler Herro was their best pull-up shooter. Kel'el Ware jumped to nearly 40% from 3 this year. A stretch big who would have been a perfect fit next to Giannis. Both of them are gone. So Miami fixed their
But I feel like they should have traded Bam Adebayo instead of Tyler Herro. Like, they should have kept Herro and Kel'el Ware, and they should have traded Bam Adebayo and Triple J. And that's not bad to say. I'm not going to lie. That's not even bad to say. Like, I feel like it would have worked out better. It would have worked out better for both teams, honestly. Like, Tyler Herro and Giannis, that's a good duo. And they got Kel'el Ware. Bro, what? Kel'el Ware can shoot threes too? Yo, it would have been a win-win for each team. I ain't going to lie. Bro, Giannis and Kel'el Ware, and then Giannis can literally mentor Kel'el Ware. Like, bro, Kel'el Ware he's gonna literally turn into a better and more polished Brook Lopez. Literally. So, and he's gonna get more boards because he can get boards too. So we really finished the seat on, man.
Superstar problem by creating we have a no shooting around our 2 non-shooting bigs problem. Now look, I'm not saying it can't work. Eric Spoelstra is one of the best coaches alive at scheming around weird fits. Bam's a brilliant passer, and that defense could be downright scary. But the half-court offense come playoff time, that's the question that decides whether this is a title team or a second-round exit. So with that being said, did the Milwaukee Bucks actually win this trade?
First 2 years gonna be a second-round exit.
I'm gonna be honest, the Bucks might have actually came out of this okay. You have to stop and remember the position that the Bucks were in when this video started. A superstar who could walk for absolutely nothing in a year. No first round picks.
They're gonna be good in like they're gonna be good in the next couple of years though. Because like this, like they're still young, they're still developing, bro. Like whenever everybody develops at least decently well, and they get like another like superstar on their team, like they sign like a big guy, it's gonna be good.
Money buried in the books. They were staring down the barrel of the worst case scenario, and they turned that into 4 young players and a stack of draft picks. Walk through it with me real quick, guys. Tyler Herro is a 20-point-a-night all-star, an actual quality starter to anchor the rebuild, even if they have to decide whether to pay him on his next deal. Kel'el Ware is a genuinely promising young big that they can grow next to Miles Turner. Hawkes is a cheap young piece with upside, and most importantly, they finally have picks again. The number 13 this year, plus Miami's first rounders in 2031 and 2033. For a team that had nothing in the cupboard, that's a real foundation. Is it a haul that makes you go, wow? No, none of these.
And they could low-key might be ass next year, and they could low-key get a top pick next year too. We'll see though.
Guys is a future MVP, and this is a long rebuild, not a quick reload. But for a player who had the franchise completely over a barrel and could have left for free, getting 4 rotation players and 3 first-round picks is a genuinely solid piece of business. The Bucks didn't get fleeced here. They got about the best that they realistically could. So here are my grades for this trade. Miami gets a B. Whenever you get a top 5 player in Giannis, obviously you're going to get a decent grade. And the pick cost was more than fair, but that fit next to Bam, and the shooting that they gave up gave me a real pause here. And Milwaukee, given the absolute corner they were backed into, I got the Bucks at an A-. Whenever you compare this to other star players or all-star players that got traded recently, I mean, the San Antonio Spurs practically got De'Aaron Fox for free from the Sacramento Kings. The Bucks squeezed real value out of
Look how the fuck he played. He played like shit.
Situation that
but he was coming off an injury too, though.
Now I want to hear from you. Who wins this trade in the comment section down?
All right, honestly, man, I have the Bucks winning the trade long term, but the only way I can say that the Heat won this trade if Bam is shooting really good from 3, man, because Giannis is a paint guy. You know what I'm saying? If Bam can't space the floor this year, then it's Cooks. I ain't gonna lie, low key. But defensively, they're solid, definitely defensively, because they can both switch on. Because Bam can play the 2 to the 5, and Giannis can play. I mean, Giannis can play. He can guard any position on the floor, if we're being honest. But I mean, realistically, like 2 to the 5 also. So, Mazin Members, let me know what you guys think about the Giannis trade. Honestly, man, like I said, bro, we'll really have to just see what's going on. I ain't gonna lie, these will be fun. These will be fun teams to use in 2K though, for sure. I will say that they will definitely be fun teams to use. Shout out to TheFlightMike for this video. Let me know if you want to react to next. Yeah, man, definitely had to just cover this right quick, bro, because it's crazy. I'll see you guys in the next reaction. Thank you, everybody, for the support. MarMazin out.